Good morning. Thank you for joining me. I'm Marion, and this is my Giving Thanks practice. I'd like to shout out a few gratitudes before we begin. First of all, I am super grateful and privileged to live on this land that was taken from the Pequosa people. For more information about the indigenous Wenatchee people, please visit our Wenatchee Museum right here in town. I would also like to give thanks to Bridget and Dakota for tirelessly working to keep us connected and practicing together. And for each of us, all of you that are choosing to step into a practice that deepens our breaths, opens our hearts, and clears our minds. Thank you for being here today. I'd like to invite you to find your spine on your mat. If you will be using props today, please bring them close by, and please feel free to use whatever props support your practice the best. At times, I may not be practicing with you, but I will be breathing with you. So finding your way onto your back, taking a moment to settle in there. And please turn the spotlight of your mind onto your breath. And just let the wave of your breath come sweetly and gently in through the nose, filling the chest, the belly, and out through the mouth. Just the simple act of drawing our awareness into our breath starts to smooth it out and naturally starts to slow and deepen the breath. Just inviting you to take a moment here to really intend to arrive, giving yourself a moment to connect with the breath and start the process of deepening it, of smoothing out its edges. And let the awareness move just beyond the breath. Let it sweep out through your entire body. Just really deeply listening in to areas of the body that may need extra attention today in our practice, to areas of your body that may need support, so that we can really choose to honor ourselves as honestly and authentically as possible as we breathe and move today. See if after your next full exhale that you can deepen your inhale to a full 5 counts. Pause at the top of that inhale, hold it, hold the fullness, and exhale through the mouth. Let's do that 2 more times. So slow, deep inhale, stretching, 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 filling to hold, and exhale. Last one. Letting go of the count, but continuing with that breath, deepening through the breath throughout our practice. Taking a moment here, breathing deeply, interlacing the fingers, creating what I call the basket weave, and shine the palms to the ceiling. Press hard, activate the arms. And take those arms to the right, just opening here through the carpal tunnel on that right wrist. Keep the breath rolling steady as you bring the hands through the midline and drop them just a few degrees to the left. Stretch here and breathe. Coming back through center, shine the palms high, activate the arms, and slowly let the arms draw back behind you and drop to the earth. Press away, stretch the toes, full body stretch here. Maybe some movements through the ribs. You can rock the hips just a bit here. One more breath. Activate all of your muscles, please. And then separating the hands, let the arms rest heavy to the floor behind you and draw the heels in towards the sit bones. Pinky toes hang off the edge of the mat as you inhale, knees are to center, and exhale, take them to the right. Drop them heavy. Hold here as you breathe into that left side of the body. Slow, deep breaths, relaxing the left shoulder back. Maybe the gaze turns to the left slightly. Drawing the knees back to the sky, inhaling here, and then dropping them to the left. Letting the legs be heavy, the shoulders heavy, the face soft, and the breath to the belly. Coming back to center, knees to the sky. And then in your own rhythm with your breath, let the knees rock to the left and to the right, massaging the sacrum, opening the hips. Good. When you're ready, the knees will come back to the skyline, sweeping the arms slowly around to gather knees to chest, Apanasana. Give yourself a rock through the spine, so a little bit left and right. Hopefully this doesn't turn off my mic. Rocking out the back. Good, so we'll center ourselves on the spine, inhaling here. And exhale, curl like a ball, draw the thighs towards the belly, forehead towards the knees, squeeze tight, hold that breath out. And then inhale, feet to the sky, arms reaching back behind you. Circle out the wrists, ankles, spread the fingers and toes. Just get some circulation going all the way to the periphery. Big inhales here. And long exhales. One more big inhale. And this time as you exhale, curl like a ball, forehead to the knees. Again, hollow that belly out, squeeze tight. Good, and inhale, feet back to the sky, arms back to the floor behind you. We're gonna point the toes and flex the heels. And again, point, waking up the leg channels, flex. One more point. This time as we flex the heels, hold here, inhale both feet to the sky, and exhale right heel to hover above the floor. Knee can be bent if your spine is not feeling up to this task. Inhaling, feet back together, exhale left heel. Inhale, feet together, exhale right. Waking up the core, deepening the breath, inhale. Left heel to hover, exhale. Good, inhale, feet together. You can stay with your spine flat or add lifting the scapula, exhale, right heel. Inhale, spine flat, feet together. Exhale, left. Look all the way down to the toes. Inhale together. One more set. Exhale. Inhale together. And exhale, left. And inhale together. This time, exhale, knees to chest. Massage the spine, left and right, which I cannot demonstrate with my microphone on my hip. One more breath here, just really connecting in with your bodies, in with yourself here. Crossing the ankles and finding a forward and back roll, coming to Sukasana, easy pose. If massaging the spine is not kind, just finding an easy, gentle way to find your way to a seat. Crossing the ankles, sitting up tall. It is nice if you have supplies at home, you can wrap a little blanket between the ankles and knees here if there's too much compression. Sit up tall on your inhales. Roll the shoulders back and down, exhaling. Stay to breathe. So for a moment here, bringing your hands to your hearts. And just bringing from your heart into your mind, into your own awareness, what you have gratitude for in this moment. There's things, people, activities, spaces. And take a moment to let your heart feel that connection, that gratitude. Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, thank you. From here, I'd like to find a mudra of compassion and heart opening. So from a seated tall position, the arms reach out as if we could reach out to each other. All 10 fingers opened as wide as possible, the arms extending from the heart. This mudra is designed to open our hearts and clear our minds. Taking a moment here to just send our love and energy out to those who may really need it in this moment, for those who may be in struggle or experiencing pain or difficulty, taking a moment here really to extend. Traditionally, the gaze falls to the right, so I won't be mirroring you here. As we look to the right, we honor our brothers, our uncles, our fathers, our grandfathers and great-grandfathers and great-greats. Taking a moment here really to just send our heart, our compassion, our acknowledgement, our appreciation to all of those that have touched us directly or indirectly and made this life, this blessed life that we live, possible. Bringing the chin back to the midline and taking the gaze to the left, to the lunar, to the feminine, to all of our sisters, our aunties, our mothers and grandmothers, our great-grandmothers and great-greats, all the way back. A few breaths here just to acknowledge and to give thanks and to extend and open so that we can send our breath, our prayers to those in need. And bring the gaze back to the midline, just taking a moment to acknowledge yourself for showing up and having gratitude for your courage and your breath and your perseverance in these difficult times. One more breath. Hard work reaching out, isn't it? And bring our hands to prayer. Sit up tall on our inhale. And exhale, bring the hands to the dirt. Leave the right hand down. I won't mirror you. Sorry. Inhale, left. And exhale, bow to the right. Really spread those fingers out on the right hand. Leave the right hand down as you inhale, sit up straight, reach left, full wingspan. And exhale, bow to the right. One more. Inhale, sit up straight, reach left, gaze follows the fingers. And exhale, this time we'll stay, bow to the right. Really anchor that left hip into the dirt. Let the head be heavy, the breath be deep. And one more breath as you roll your heart over that right thigh and bring it forward, hands to the dirt, cross-legged forward fold. I have told my students often that I am a windy girl, so sometimes a little bit of movement in these poses can help me to soften those areas of tightness. So feel free for a few breaths here to either find some subtle movements that help you or to find your stillness. Either way, connect with your breath. Take a moment to peek at which leg is out front and use the hands to find your way back to a seat. We're going to sweep the hands behind us, finding a modified Navasana. Maybe your legs are straight, maybe they stay bent, but lift the chest, draw the elbows together. Good, and if you're feeling frisky, you can find your full boat. Let the heart lead, let the chin be heavy, and the gaze is at the toes. For 3, it's okay to not be perfect here. 2, and 1. As you come back to Sukasana, cross the opposite leg in front, please. Sit up tall on your inhale. And exhale, hands to the dirt. Leave your left hand down. Inhale, sweep right high. And exhale, bow to the left. Inhale, sit up tall, reach to the right, open the chest. And exhale, bow left. Inhale, sit up tall, reach to the right, open the heart. And exhale, bow to the left. Here we'll stay. Allow that right hip to stay anchored, right? Stretching through the right side of the body, softening through the left side. One more breath in. And exhale as you roll your heart over that left leg and draw the hands forward. Seated cross-legged forward fold. Let the head be heavy. Let the breath be deep to the belly. Rolling over the knees to come into table pose, or finding an easy, kind way to come to table on your mat towards the center. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips for an inhale, arching our spine for a cow, and an exhale to round, hollow the belly, cat. Close your eyes here. Take a few rounds. Inhaling cow and exhaling, finding your cat. Any movements that need to erupt from your being, let them be with this process as we open our breath and our spine, really linking the two together. Coming back on an inhale to table, tucking the toes under, exhaling, downward facing dog. We have 5 breaths here. Making sure you're not collapsing through the shoulders. Lengthen and lift through the hips. Excuse me. And drop the energy back through to the heels. Please know that throughout practice you can come to child's pose at any time. Please feel free to skip postures if you need to rest and honor your breath and your practice, just as you are today. Coming into a warm-up series here together, starting in downward facing dog. We're going to take our inhale to lift that left heel, shifting our knee to nose, cat round the spine, and hover in plank. So core curl here, exhaling. Inhale, 3-legged dog, and exhale, knee to nose. One more, inhale, 3-legged dog. And this time as we exhale, drawing knee forward, stepping it between the hands, low lunge. If it does not come, please drop to your right knee and help the left foot forward. Bring the hips heavy here. Let the arms either rest hands on blocks or fingers to the earth. Let the head bow. One more breath, just settling in to the stretch of the low lunge here. If you want, you can stay here with the hands to the floor or with me, sweeping the hands back, press down strongly through that left foot and bring the hands to the sky. Reaching up through the upper body, gaze to the ceiling. Left foot planted on the ground. One more breath here. Such a beautiful pose for giving thanks and gratitude. When you're ready, let the hands frame that left foot. Exhaling. Untuck the right toes. Let the weight come back on the right knee. Half Hanuman Asana. So the upper body is draping forward here, stretching the hamstring of that left leg. You might even take a moment to massage through that hamstring. 3 breaths here, slow, deep and heavy, drawing the hips back and letting the upper body bow forward. One more breath here. When you're ready, returning to our low lunge, tucking the back toes under and sweeping our left foot back to meet the right high plank. Hold here. Some of you will leave both toes on the floor and others will join me lifting right toes, shoulders above the wrists, belly into the spine, breathing slowly and deeply here. Right toes to the ground and lift left. Keep breathing, keep strengthening, keep finding that courage and resilience to hold the pose. Bringing the feet together on the floor, inhale, plank. And you can exhale to chaturanga, or with me, knees, chest, and chin. The inhale is low cobra or upward dog, you choose. And the exhale, all the way up and back, downward facing dog. We have 3 breaths. You might find an organic hip sway or some bending deeply in the knees. See if you can find the areas that still are kind of resisting softening. Where could you find a little bit more softness, a little bit more connection? Coming back to center, downward facing dog. For the inhale, sweeping right heel high, 3-legged dog. And exhale, core curl, rounding the spine, tucking the knee to the chest. Inhaling, 3-legged dog. And exhale, knee to nose. One more, inhale. Knee to nose, and then stepping it through, low lunge. Left knee to the floor. Hands to the block or framing the right foot, chin to the chest. Keep rolling the heart open here, friends, trying not to hunch over, but shine forward. Coming into our Anjani Asana, press down strongly through that right foot. It stabilizes the pose. And bring the hands to the sky. Just a moment here to breathe, strengthen, and balance. Softening the back of the heart, opening the chest and shoulders. Oh, one more breath. Prayer hands can guide the hands back to the floor. Half Hanumanasana. Weight back over the left knee, right toes lift. Bow the upper body over the right leg, flex the right toes. Any subtle adjustments that help you find your stretch, yourselves, please make that happen. Gently walking the hands forward, returning to low lunge, tucking onto the back left toes. Inhale, high plank. Option for both toes to stay down, right? Or even knees down in kneeling plank. Just make sure your hips don't bump up. Otherwise, with me, left toes lift. And then the right toes lift as the left toes come down. Hollow out the belly. Remember that alligator pit beneath you. So we really want to tuck in the front body to the back side. Both sets of toes to the floor. Inhale. And it's either chaturanga or knees, chest, and chin to the floor. Exhaling. Low cobra or up dog as you inhale. And exhale all the way home. Downward facing dog. We have 3 breaths. Seeing if you're starting to warm up just a little bit. Loosening up just a little bit here. Coming back to center, inhale, rise high on your tippy toes, tiptoes, hips and heels high. And exhale, heels dropping back towards the earth. One more. Inhale, tiptoes, hips and heels high, high, high. And exhale, heels dropping back towards the dirt. This time as we inhale, rising high onto our tippy toes. And we'll tiptoe as we exhale forward into a wide stance for our forward fold. Let the knees be bent here. Forearms can rest on the thighs to protect the spine, or clasp elbows perhaps, and find a little ragdoll. Allowing the body to shift its weight over the right, back through center and to the left. Try to deepen the knee bend at least 10 or 15% more. Just notice how that changes, where the pose touches you, what part of the body can be reached and connected back to the breath. And coming to center. Hands to the shins for a half lift. Head is level with the sit bones, half lift. And exhale, sitting down. So chair pose, but fingers start low. Good, and then inhale, bring the hands level with the shoulders. Tuck the tailbone down, lift through the chest, and extend through the arms. One more inhale, gazing over the fingertips, and exhale, sit a little deeper. Inhale, reach high, upward salute, goalpost back bend, exhale. Moving into our Surya Namaskar, inhale, upward salute, and exhale, standing forward fold. Inhaling, half lift, lengthen the spine, engage the core. Exhale, downward dog for rest or high to low plank to the ground. Exhale. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Breathe here. Connect here. Just keep coming back to your body. Keep coming back to your hearts. You can choose to find child's pose, or with me, inhale, rise high onto your tiptoes. Exhale, deep bend in the knees as you look forward. Inhale, hopper step, half lift. And exhale, forward fold. Coming into chair, leave the hands low. Inhale, sit down and float the arms. Exhale, deepen your seat. Just like that. Inhale, deepening. And exhale, lowering just a little bit more. One more breath in. Deep seat, exhale. Stand up tall, upward salute, inhale. And goalpost back bend, exhale. Round 2. Inhale, upward salute. And exhale, forward fold. Half lift, inhale. Rest in downward dog or take high to low plank. Exhale. Low cobra or upward dog. Inhale. And exhale. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Really let your awareness sweep through your body here. Allow yourself some space in the spine, maybe space for some water. Moving into the first of our creative series. So from our downward dog, I'm going to just start on the left for demonstration. So inhale, left heel high to the sky, 3-legged dog. And exhale, stepping it through, high crescent lunge. Get the right toes to the right so that you can find your balance. And bring the hands to the sky. Commit the lower body into the earth and commit the upper body to the heavens. Reaching across, right hand gathers left wrist, And gently bow to the right. Breathing here. Coming back through center, left wrist connecting with the right and bowing just a bit to the left. Soften the shoulders, the jaw, the gaze, and back through center. Sweeping the hands behind to interlace the fingers, pointing at the back heel behind you, open the chest. And as you're ready, bow forward. Humble warrior here. Hands to the sky, navel into the spine, chest forward. So I'm going to challenge you here, coming into Kasana. So the hands are going to stay clasped as I lift the chest. And just for demonstration, I'm moving my front foot back to extend that right leg. Yes, it's real. Take a moment with your interlaced hands, extending through that right. Gaze forward or to the floor for stability. Reach back with the hands and the heel. Landing in warrior two. So the back right heel comes down. The chest peels open and the arms reach out. Take a minute here. Make sure that your front left foot is right towards the front of the mat. Hips are heavy and chest is open to the right. Nice long wingspan with the arms. Gaze over the left fingers. Inhale to reach forward to the left. And exhale, exalted warrior. Take a breath or two here, opening that left side, strengthening that left leg. Good. Coming back, Virabhadrasana 2. Both palms turn up. Inhale, straighten left leg, reach to the sky. And exhale, tee the arms out, exhaling. Leave the left leg straight as you inhale. Start to reach forward for Trikonasana. Left hand to the thigh or to the calf or to the earth. As you reach up with the right. Gaze can be to the ground for more stability and releasing the neck. Or tuck the chin to the chest and revolve to look to the sky. One more breath here. Trikonasana. To come out of this all the way back to exalted warrior, we'll bend that left knee. Let it flow like water as the left arm comes up and over the ear. Exalted warrior. Several breaths, strengthening, stretching, and arriving right here. And back to warrior two. Beautiful. Turn both palms up, straighten out that left leg, reach to the sky. All 10 toes facing to the right now, so just like I'm facing you, hands to prayer. Bringing the hands to the hips. And I'm coming into my high yogic squat. Take a moment, find where it's the most comfortable for you, sitting into the squat here, heels in, toes out. And then we'll inhale, star, and exhale, goddess. Just like that again. Inhale, star, and exhale, goddess. One more, inhale, and exhale, goddess pose. And stay, breathe. Settle, the shoulders heavy, the face soft, and the breath is deep. One more deep inhale here. Exhale into your goddess. Star pose. Inhale, reach out to rise. Hallelujah. Kick those heels wide. Prayer hands to our straddle fold. If you need to, use the legs for support as you descend. Otherwise, bowing forward, let the hands find blocks or the earth. Please release the neck. I think my students can hear me in their head. Please release the neck, your brainstem, your cerebellum, right? The part that helps us shift back to rest and repair. The part that downshifts back into the parasympathetic. Finding some generous movements here that are soft and comforting. Perhaps bending one knee, dropping the hip towards that heel. Hands for the support in the center, or maybe they migrate towards a foot. A little bit of freedom of expression here. Release the neck. Coming back to center with the hips, hands under the heart, half lift. Walking yourself back to the front of the mat, low lunge. Please feel free to stay here or into a kneeling lunge to rest, or join me left foot forward, standing splits. Now I'm far from perfect here, friends, so please allow yourself also to be in the practice of arriving. To breathe in the breath and the patience and the trusting in the process of the practice. Beautiful. If you're in your low lunge, we're going to join together in a moment in half lift, feet together. If you're with me in our standing split, there's one more breath. And exhale, half lift, feet together, joining together. Beautiful. Taking your next exhale, sit down, chair. And inhale, take the arms forward. Exhale, sit more deeply. And inhale, lift through the heart. One more, guys. Sit exhaling deeply, deeply, deeply. And upward salute. Reach up to rise. Goalpost back bend. Exhale. Inhale here. Upward salute. And exhale, standing forward fold. The half lift is what joins us together. Inhale. And stepping back, downward dog for rest, or exhaling through high to low plank to the floor. The inhale is low cobra or upward facing dog. And the exhale joins us together, downward facing dog. Staying here for 3 breaths. I'm going to actually switch sides so I can face you better on my right side. Downward facing dog to breathe and connect. Coming into the opposite side. So the inhale sweeps right heel high to the sky, 3-legged dog. And the exhale is Alligator, high crescent lunge. Getting the left toes to the left. Press up to rise, bringing the hands to the sky. Commit to the breath. Commit to the pose. Letting the right hand reach across, gather left, inhaling and exhaling, bowing to the right. Inhaling back through center, taking the opposite clasp, bowing to the left. Strengthen here, really work hard, breathe deeply, and coming back to center. The hands release to interlace behind the hips, pointing the toes at that back heel, open the chest. Inhale here. And exhale to bow forward. Good, the arms are extended, the belly is tucked, the gaze is to the floor. Strengthen, strengthen. Shoving off into our airplane, Kasana. So there could be a half step with that left foot and reaching back. The gaze can be at the floor for support or to the wall for more challenge. Finding the breath, balancing on the right leg, breathing deeply. Landing our plane in Warrior Two. That right knee bends, grounding that left heel. Peel the arms open. And then make those micro adjustments. Right toes forward, back heel kicked out. And then the hands can find the horizon. Virabhadrasana 2. When you're ready, the right palm turns up. Inhale, reach forward. And exhale, exalted warrior. Right hand over the ear. Let the chest open here. Let yourself straighten that right leg if you need rest, or keep in the lunge to deepen the strengthening here. Coming back, Virabhadrasana 2. Turn both palms up, straighten the right leg. Inhale, reach to the sky. And exhale, tee the arms out. Preparing for Trikonasana. Inhale, breathe in. And exhale, reaching to the right, hand to the thigh, to the calf, to the earth. Perhaps there's a block. As you reach up with the left hand. Keep holding and softening and deepening into the pose, remembering that the gaze can be at the floor or to the sky. One more deep breath here. And then returning all the way to exalted warrior. So that right knee softly bends as we come through Warrior Two just for a moment. And bring that right hand back above the ear. Left hand can stay to the thigh. Some of you will half bind. And breathe. Commit. Warrior Two. What are you willing to fight for? Who are you willing to fight for? Turning the palms up, deep inhale, straighten right, hands to the sky, star, twinkle. And exhale, bring the hands to prayer. Hands to the hips here, preparing for our high yogic squat. And come into the squat. Settling down to find your ankles under the knees and knees in line with the toes. When you find that alignment, inhale for star and exhale for goddess. One or two more. Inhale, star. And exhale, goddess. This time we'll hold it. So inhale, star. And exhale to hold here, goddess. What can you soften here? So there's a lot of hard work. There might be even a little earthquake, some sewing machine legs, I think it's called. So let those be present, but see if you can soften the face, soften the hands, deepen the breath. As you're ready, the inhale takes us tall, reach out, kick those heels wide, prayer hands to straddle fold, and again, please feel free to support your spine as you come down, bringing the hands towards the ground. Again, there can be a little twist to the left and to the right, or a little shift, I should say, of the weight left and right. Hands can stay to the center or migrate towards the feet. Please release your neck. If you need support to release the neck, sometimes I practice by bringing both hands to the occiput and letting the weight of the hands just really support the softening through the neck. Coming into a straddle fold twist. So the hands will come to center, hips to center. That right hand down on the block or on the floor under the heart for a half lift in the spine. Take your next inhale to sweep that left hand up to the sky, and exhale to hold. Keep the hips bumping to the right. So we're looking left, but the hips need to stay to the right. One more breath in, really reach and twist. And exhale, taking that left hand down and replacing the right. Inhale, right hand out to the right. Reach out and up. Exhale to hold the pose. Keep adjusting here, lengthening from the crown to the tail. And keep the hips moving to the left, away from where the gaze is. One more breath in. And exhale to release. Good, so you remember I turned around here so I could face you more clearly. So you're gonna find your half lift and let your hands migrate to the front of your mat. And the right foot should be in front. Please be happy to stay in a low lunge or rest in a kneeling lunge, or with me, find your standing splits. Right hand might come to the calf, trusting the process and your breath. See what else you can extend through. So one leg or the other, or maybe it's through the spine. If you're in your low lunge, you'll slowly find your way to a half lift. If you're in standing splits, one more inhale. And feet together, half lift, exhale. Nice long inhale in your half lift. And exhale, chair pose, hands start low. And inhale, sit. Exhale, deepen your chair. And inhale, hold here. Exhale, one more deepening of chair. And inhale, reach to the sky, stand tall, upward salute. Exhale, goalpost back bend. Inhale, stand tall. And exhale, standing prayer. Take a breath in and out. Give yourself a chance to loosen, soften here. We're going to find our Vrikasana tree pose. Mercy. So finding your stance, feet to the floor. Let's balance on our right first, bringing the hands to prayer. Maybe the left heel just kicks in. Maybe the left foot comes to the calf. And if you'd like to, bring that left foot to the thigh. Please don't let that right hip slip out. Draw it in, draw the core in, and lift to the chest. Breathe here, fix the gaze. If you feel steady and comfortable, bring the hands to the sky. And maybe you can let a little wind through your branches. Much more difficult to move in our balancing postures. So just finding the edge where you're really alive and challenged and present here with the beautiful trees in our area. I often see the eagles nesting in the trees along the river where I walk. Just amazing and beautiful. Bringing the hands back to prayer. And bring that left foot down. Let's take a nice wide yogic squat one more time. Sitting deeply into our hips. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, drop the right shoulder to center. Look left. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, sit deeply, dropping the opposite shoulder. Look to the opposite direction. Good. Inhale, back through center. Reach to the sky, stand up tall, and bring the hands to prayer. Last side of our Vrikasana tree pose. So the left foot is our earth now, hands to the heart for centering. Right heel can kick in. Maybe find the calf. And if you're feeling kind of frisky, bring it to the thigh. I'm not sure I'm feeling frisky, but I'm going to give it a go. Connect with your breath. Lift through the heart, open here to tree, Vrikasana. If you're feeling steady and you want to see if the wind can blow through your branches, reach out. It's okay to tip over a little bit. It's okay to come in and out of the pose. It's okay to not be perfect. In fact, maybe life is better lived that way. Taking one more breath here, coming to center, and bringing the hands to prayer. Unhooking that right foot and stepping to the front edge of your mat. The inhale is our upward salute, and the exhale is a goalpost back bend. Inhale, reach high, stand tall, upward salute. And exhale, forward fold. Half lift, inhale. Taking it back to downward dog for resting, or with me, high to low plank, exhale. Low cobra or up dog, inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to find our alligator pose here, moving towards our cool down. So knees will come down to the mat. Sweeping the hands under the head, one hand stacked on the other, forehead down. Since it's harder to hear me here, I'm just going to keep my chin up. But please let your forehead rest on the back of your hands. Bending the knees, bringing the heels to the sky, and just sway left and right. Just a moment here, softening the back, connecting with the earth. So I want to give you the opportunity to find your favorite form of Shalabhasana. Shalabhasanas are so good on empty tummies, I should say. So hopefully you're feeling like an empty vessel at the moment and can help to prepare our digestion, right? So good every day, but maybe more so today. So I'll demonstrate one variation, but there are much more challenging and invigorating variations. So if you feel inspired, finding one of those. So the legs extend back behind you, right? Remember, arms can come forward if your back is strong. Otherwise, with me, elbows up above the wrists, fingers facing forward, right? Cricket wings here. Bringing the legs gently together. The inhale can lift just the chest if you feel like that's enough, or if you're feeling it, finding the legs lifting, elbows squeezing, breathing into the belly. So we really want to massage the belly here. Breathing, holding for 3 more breaths, the best you can. The neck is as soft as possible, right? So I'm not lifting with the neck. 1 more breath if you can, and exhaling it back to alligator. Whew. Shimmer the hips left and right, Or bring the heels to the sky one more time. Coming to center, lengthen the legs, sliding the hands back, just like we had them cricket wings. The inhale presses us to table. And the exhale, gently find a cat. Taking a few rounds with your own breath, moving organically through cat and cow to integrate those back bends. And then coming back into child's pose. Let the hands rest under the forehead, hips rest back to the heels. Connect with your breath. Connect with your heart. And connect to the earth. Hands coming forward, bringing yourself back through table. Coming into our final cool down. Letting the hips shift to the side, bringing the soles of the feet forward. Sitting up nice and tall, ground the big toe in front, lean back a little bit and reach. Use a few exhales and breaths here to roll the spine back down into the dirt. And as you rest the head, gather the knees to chest. It should be easier to deepen the breath here, so really taking a moment to intentionally come back to that 5 count inhale, massaging the spine to the left and to the right. Finding our figure 4 here to open the hip, right ankle can cross over left knee, holding on to the left calf. Make sure that the chin is tucked to the chest so that the neck is long. Flexing that left foot and the right foot can help to bring some action into the pose if you need to protect the knees. But letting the face be soft and the breath be deep. As you're ready, gently uncrossing the right from the left, and we'll switch sides. So the left ankle crossing over the right knee, reaching through, clasping that right calf or right thigh. Taking a few softening, deepening breaths here in your figure 4. Feeling into that left hip. Starting to slow the body down by anchoring the spine. One more breath here. And coming out of the pose, Apanasana. Good. Bringing the soles of the feet to the ground, bringing the hands, that basket weave behind the head, and just slowly, if it's comfortable and safe, bring the soles of the feet together. Taking a moment here in reclined bound angle pose, making those subtle adjustments to help your body soften. If you need support under the thighs, please bring that to you now. And just for a moment here in our bound angle reclined pose, just just to draw again the awareness to that which you are feeling so grateful for in this moment. Also holding out the fig leaf towards what we can learn to be grateful for. So maybe we're not feeling grateful about a few things, and just holding out the space that perhaps in time we can practice learning to be grateful even for some of the harder parts, some of the more difficult parts. Building our resilience, building our heart's strength to hold more. And just making one last moment here with this pose to just dedicate yourselves to some practice of gratitude over the next day or over the next few days or even for the whole year. Practicing bringing our awareness into our hearts and coming to the practice of gratitude. Releasing the head from the hands. Use the hands under the thighs to gently bring the knees to the sky and start to stretch out for your final rest here in Shavasana. Let the breath be soft. Let the body be heavy. Truly composting your earthly self into the dirt with the leaves. Composting into the dirt. And let your mind and your spirit soar into that blue sky mind. And where our bodies meet our mind and our spirit is hopefully in the heart. So bringing the hands there and deepening the breath to and through the heart. And start to find some organic movements, adjustments that allow yourselves to come from this brief moment of rest. And gently drawing the knees into the chest and coming to rest on one side. Using the strength of the arms to come into our final and comfortable seat here together. Sitting up tall, but softening the shoulders, softening the heart. Bringing the hands to prayer. Again, to acknowledge this sacred and beautiful land that we are privileged to live on. Acknowledging Bridget and Dakota for tirelessly carrying the light so that we can connect. And having gratitude for each and every one of you choosing to deepen your breath, open your hearts, and clear the mind. Namaste. Shanti, shanti, shanti.